Hi, welcome to the While You Walk podcast, where you do the walking and we do the talking. Today I'm here with Jason Dell. Busy people, do you ever get in trouble while trying to navigate through complex emotional life decisions and family situations? Have you ever found yourself in a challenging situation where people's needs are intense and emotions are running high? Jason Dell has been a part of some major decisions. He's the owner of a custom home building company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He's a divorced father of two teenagers and an active member of the local community. And Jason has a growth mindset. He's on a journey to get better every day. His custom building company, Build with Passion, Build Bold. I was looking at his website. It's a beautiful website. It's in the show notes. Definitely check it out. Some of these custom homes are beautiful. The videos are beautiful. The website's beautiful. You can tell there's an attention to detail here that is really good. Um, Jason, how you doing, man? Welcome to the podcast.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that intro. I definitely sounded better than I sometimes feel about myself. So thank you for boosting me up in the beginning here. But appreciate the comments about my company. Obviously, Bold Construction is my passion. It is, what I get up for every day, along with my kids and family. It's, what I put a majority of my daily time into. So I really appreciate you saying good things about us, and our website certainly presents the story of what we are doing and what we tell and promise to our clients. So thank you for sharing with that.
Well, with that, can you tell us what attracted you into that career? What's the current service? What separates it from other people? Who do you work with? What kind of problems do you solve?
Whew, that's a lot. So what originally brought me into the career was basically a love for real estate. I'm the guy that's, he's on vacation and I'm looking at property instead of enjoying the beach, right? I'm looking around seeing how they build this, how they build that. And I've always been that way. Even in a previous career where I was, using my degree and as an electrical engineer, I was always looking at property when I drove around and checked things out. So got the opportunity with my best friend from preschool, quite honestly, to go into business. He was living down in Chapel Hill. I was in the busy world of DC at the time. And he said, well, we always talked about, getting together and running a business together. He said, hey, we got an opportunity down here. Come on down. Here's what we can do. I had been in the corporate world for 5 years and basically hit the top of where I could be in the current role. And I was done with that. I was done with the traffic of DC. So I came down to beautiful Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and joined his business. And 21 years later, here we are. It's been a heck of a ride. As you mentioned, we're a custom home and renovation company. We deal in the high end stuff. These are dream homes. These are what clients would call forever homes. Our average, I just looked at our 2023 numbers. Our average project was over $2 million. So these are big, fancy, nice homes in the Chapel Hill area and surrounding. So the problem that we solve is, we give our clients the opportunity to build their dream forever homes in an efficient timeline. Um, we're a company of 18 people now. We're able to build 10 to 12 custom homes a year of that scale. Our typical competition's a one-man show, and they can build a couple of homes a year, but they're really not allowing the efficiencies of a semi, pulling on some of the production mindset. We can gain the efficiencies and build more homes in the same amount of time. So it's great.
Yeah, and I've seen this kind of structure of a business model where you really work with the high end people that can afford a lot, and that's sort of where you get the money. And then you spend your time and your energy on people that really, really need your help with charities and other situations that have needs. Can you tell me about the Bold Foundation? You're a board member of the Bold Foundation. You also work with Habitat for Humanity. And generally, what's attractive and fulfilling about working with these nonprofits?
Yeah, I mean, so that's something that Chris and I realized over time. Your point is that yes, we're working with people with high net worth. We're building houses that top 1% of people can afford. What are we doing to give back? And Chris and I have always felt the desire, the need, and the requirement, quite honestly, to give back. We've both been serving on not-for-profit boards, for decades, and really feel that that is part of our mission. Um, we instill that in our team. We have probably once a month we're doing a volunteer project for a community, not-for-profit community in general. So, I think I just saw it on our calendar. We have Ronald McDonald House Volunteer Day coming up in, I think, next month. On top of that, a few years back, we decided to develop our own not-for-profit. So, the Bold Foundation is a charity, and we focus hyper local on the kids in our immediate community that are underserved, and our goal is to support them and take care of them so they can, have all the school supplies they need so they're not behind. They can have, one of the big things we do is Christmas cheer event where we're providing Christmas presents for the local kids that wouldn't necessarily have a great Christmas without it. And it's really fulfilling. Our team, the construction team, the real estate team, they get behind it, and it's just an overall great experience. And it's something that, again, it's part of our culture.
And to get to be there and to see it and give these kids safer places to live, access to nutrition, these memorable Christmas activities, character building activities.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel after you spend a day doing that and seeing the difference you're making?
Well, I mean, if you're being honest, it's somewhat selfish, right? Because you feel so good when it's done. It's but it's also feels so good when it's done because you're seeing the smiles on faces. You're seeing, the parents come in to pick up the gifts and just how grateful they are that they're able to use these gifts to supplement what they can provide and truly make, you know, the child's Christmas or holiday amazing. So selfishly, it feels great, but it feels great because it's something great for others.
Yeah, and I think, being a team member of the construction company, getting to be a part of that contribution to the community, I mean, that's an attractive thing that I think people want to be involved with. It's magnetic, it's beautiful.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we always do like around the rooms we call them at the office, and oftentimes it's what's your favorite thing we did this year, and 9 times out of 10, it's the opportunities where we gave back, where we as a company decided to take a Friday afternoon off and go and do something for somebody else, and that's when my team feels the most fulfilled. Now they get fulfilled in their daily jobs, as I said. We're building for amazing people. It's we get to know them very well, and it gives our team the drive to do that better. But ultimately, giving back to those in need has been the number one on many people's lists throughout the years.
Yeah, it really seems like a very satisfying business and lifestyle structure. I've had the opportunity to work with lots of different business owners and like doctors and lawyers and stuff. And some of the happiest people are the business owners, but then like engineers and like builders, people that get to like envision a project and then see it come to life and like actually build something. I find it's very satisfying. And then obviously the charity work's also very satisfying.
Yeah. No, I mean you hit that on the head. And a lot of people come into the construction business is because they get to see nothing, piece of land, and then they get to see the finished product, which is a beautiful, amazing house that is complete, done, and people have moved in. So and then every day is different. I sometimes compare it to, this is a simple comparison, but one of my favorite things, chores at home, is loading and unloading the dishwasher, right? Because it is something that has a definite start and a definite finish. It's loaded, you hit the button, you start it up. When it's unloaded, everything's out of it and put away. It's it's not like cleaning the house because, guess what? You clean the house, it always gets dirty again. So construction is the same way. We get to see things from start to finish and get to celebrate on both ends of it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I want to start diving into some of your unique skills here.
Okay.
So, what's one thing or something that someone with only your experience would know? Um, yeah, what's something that, having done what you've done, lived the experiences you've lived, what's something only you would know with the insight that you've got dealing with people?
Wow. That's a deep question. Let me think about that. So, um, I think one thing that comes to mind is that running a successful small business is, on one end, it's harder than you probably think of it to begin with when you get started, but then it's easier as you get into it because there are systems in place. And one of the things that I found over time that worked for us was something called EOS, which is the entrepreneurial operating system, and it's essentially a dumbed down version of big business systems that works for small businesses. And it is something that I talk to people all the time. In fact, I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan on a visit with our local Chamber of Commerce this past weekend and got to speak with a business owner there that was just embarking on the EOS journey. And I totally geeked out on her, and she probably was bored about me talking about it, but talked through the, kind of the whole system and the visionary, the integrator. These are all EOS terms. And um, it's really something that if there's any small business owners out there that don't really have it under control, which we probably never do, EOS can help you get better, get there. Um,
So, what's kind of one thing that it, systemized or helped you do better?
um, well, it forced us to have meetings. So at one point, we didn't believe in meetings or didn't feel they were necessary. And in order to kind of bring everyone together, meetings are necessary, but it also gives you a structure for your meetings, so they're not, just dragging on. They have an agenda, they have a start, they have a finish. Your goal is to rate them a 10. So they're called level 10 meetings. And at the end of every meeting gets rated. It's really a great system um, to just bring efficiencies to meetings. The goal of the meeting is to solve issues. The goal of the meeting is to create to-dos out of those issues and follow up with them on the following week or the following cadence of the meeting schedule. So,
So it's like, what's the meeting length that you kind of aim for?
so ideally they're designed to be 90 minutes, which our typical leadership meeting would be 90 minutes. We usually set the department meetings to about 60 minutes. So it's modifiable, but 60 or 90 minutes is kind of the norm.
And you're solving issues, you're getting clear outcomes and clear working takeaways, and you're getting everyone's feedback, I'm sure.
Correct. No, it's great. It's an open forum. Everyone feels safe there to share. No question is a dumb question, and no issue is a dumb issue. Bring it up, talk about it, and we'll solve it and move on.
Awesome. Shifting gears. So a lot of my listeners are busy dads, and
Hmm.
you're a busy dad that comes from a complex place with a lot of success
Yes.
and probably some learning experiences, as we all do. What are one or two things or that you think can make someone's health or their relationship better inside of the house?
Um. Well, so just background for your audience: I am a divorced dad um, of just over 5 years now. I have two kids who are now 14 and 16. Both are in high school now, and it's been a challenge. I'll be honest, but we've got through it. We worked through it, and we're doing great. I'm thriving. The kids are thriving. But yeah, it's busy. It's there's a lot going on. Each kid has different activities. I have, a full work day and a staff. And being a small business owner, the workday does really never ends, as you know, until you call it at the end of the day. Um, I think the best thing that has worked for me and my kids is kind of having an attitude of honesty and flexibility. So um, letting them know where I'm going to be, making sure I know where they're going to be during the day, you know, giving each other some leniency. And if something doesn't go right, which it never does during the day, and there's a delay on my end, on their end, with their mom, then let's be honest about it. Let's be flexible, and give each other a little bit of a grace period on anything.
Yeah,
Um,
and in communicating things, the honesty, the flexibility, like being very like quick to say, "Hey, this changed. Hey, this happened."
right.
And I think on the other side of that is, if someone's going to criticize me when I'm honest with them, I'm less likely to stay honest with them. So, how challenging has that been to, to be able to hear the honesty from the other side?
um, my kids don't have any problem with it. They're very open. Um, we have a great relationship. We can they're allowed to dig into their dad a little bit. They're allowed to give me a little bit of grief. I allow that. I welcome it because I want to hear what they're feeling. I don't want them to be holding it inside. So that's always interesting. And my daughter, she's a firecracker. She'll get fired up and say some things that she regrets and come to me and apologize later. And it's always all good. And I you know keep my cool in most of those situations, and we get through it. And then my son, we went through, I'll be honest, a tough period when I was first separated from his mom, and we got through it. It was just both of us kind of getting used to the new situation, and he's a great kid now, and he's doing really well. Got his driver's license, which has given him an extra uh, leash of freedom, and he's really enjoying that and kind of learning about himself, learning about life, and those different things. It's fun.
Can you tell us anything about your girlfriend and what she does and maybe what she's kind of coached you through this process?
Yeah, so that's great. So my girlfriend of almost 5 years now, um, Toby, she's amazing. She is a acupuncturist and Chinese herbal medicine practitioner, which um, before I met her, I really didn't really have a lot of exposure to it. So she has kind of opened my mind into that world of Eastern medicine, and has kind of accelerated my health journey with her knowledge, experience, and assistance. She is also a divorcee with two children, and hers hasn't always been easy either. Um, so much that she has hired a divorce coach in the past to help her, and has now become a divorce coach herself. So um, we've been very helpful to each other throughout the last 5 years and just kind of navigating kids, divorces, exes, all the different challenges. And she's been a great support system for me, and hopefully she feels the same, that I've been a great support system for her. But just seeing her step up and decide to help others has been awesome, and she will be amazing as her business continues to grow and take off, and she will help many others. So I'm excited for her on that journey.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to getting her on the podcast. Don't
Yeah,
want
yeah, you should. You definitely should. She would love it.
to. So a lot of the stuff you do, I mean, this is you have to communicate pretty precisely with emotional stability and a good amount of focus. These are big projects. These are important projects. You're just doing a lot. How do you maintain daily energy, daily focus, daily emotional stability? What are your go-tos there?
Um, it's great that you asked that question. I just got back from a trip. I think I mentioned it with the Chamber of Commerce. It was a great trip. It was Sunday through Tuesday. We flew in late on Tuesday evening, and being away 2 days and getting in a very elevated, fun environment, and getting back to the office and kind of looking at the email inbox and hearing about the issues of the last couple of days. It's a little bit deflating, and so it was a challenge for me yesterday, and I was prepared for it. I knew it was coming. So my, in those situations, it's like this will pass kind of belief. And then I, wake up this morning and I'm energized, I'm full of energy, I'm ready to go. But one of my go-tos, which was your question, is early morning workouts. So, obviously you're in that business as well, but I found a men's group called F3, and we can dig into that if you want to. But it has been, it's officially described as a men's leadership group, but it is a peer-led workout every morning, 5:30, rain, shine, darkness, whatever we run into outside, we're doing it. And I found that is the way to start my day. If I don't do that, if I don't do any kind of exercise in the morning, then my state is not as good as it could have been. So getting up, doing that, doing hard things before anyone's awake, doing hard things before you come into the office and have to deal with other things that, guess what, they're not as hard anymore, because I just threw around a cinder block for 45 minutes and did a bunch of crazy exercises with it with a group of men supporting me. So it's that's been, for the past 8+ years has been a blessing, if I were to describe it in any other way.
Yeah, I could not underscore or highlight more the benefits of morning exercise and a morning workout. Like even today, I was like, all right, we're gonna do this podcast. We're actually doing this, we're recording this at 8 a.m. And and I was like, all right, I'm really gonna get the heart rate up this morning because I want to be here, I want to be focused, I want to be
Right.
I want to be excited. And my experience working with people is some guys, well, a lot of guys wake up every morning and don't work out, don't activate their nervous system, don't get their heart rate up, get their breath going, and they kind of just mosey into the day. And then they, 9 a.m. the coffee kicks in, they finally get work done.
Yeah.
Versus the guys that work out in the morning, now it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. You are focused, you are going, you are ready, you are what's next. And the to-do list just gets knocked out and life just gets easier.
It really does. I mean, anyone out there that hasn't implemented a morning exercise routine, it's never too late. We got guys working out with us that are 75 years old, that are retired, but still need it, still need to make it happen, because yeah, it's nothing, there's nothing like it in the morning. Another thing we instituted actually recently here at the office was we call them wellness walks. So Christine, who is our director of sales, and she's amazing. She's the energy of the office, and we've had a couple of health scares recently in the office, and we're here to support our team. And what we instituted was a wellness walk. It's easy. It's 10 minutes. We go down the street, we do a loop, we come back. You're not allowed to talk about work at all. Everyone's
Oh,
welcome. It's part of the day. It's not frowned upon. It's not cheating. It's not doing your job. It is doing your job. So it's been really great. And she picks up like in the middle of something and just says, we need a state change. And then we're out the door, and we all do a walk. And me being me, I brought my sandbag in. So I got a 40-pound sandbag, and I said, if we're going to do a walk, we're going to get some weight. We're going to move some weight around. So that's been kind of fun. People get a kick out of that.
and the really interesting boundaries and rules, like, it's always okay. It's never cheating. And you're not allowed to talk about work or like, we need an energy shift. I mean, those are really, really good reasons and, rules and boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been ingrained in many of us to do that. Christine for one, Chris and I, but it's never been something that we're not pushing it on the team. It's never been something that we necessarily openly welcomed. If someone wanted to go for a walk, fine. I do meeting walks all the time. It's not out of the question, but the new initiative has been pretty cool. And I think people are really enjoying it, and it gives them a little bit of downtime and a little bit of energy to get back in and get things done.
I know that we could go on about that
We
forever.
we could forever. Yep.
All right, I got a tough question for you.
All right.
Is there anything you have changed your mind about in the last year, 2 years? Just, you've shifted your thinking on some belief, some idea, anything.
Hmm. Let's see. I mean, I would say reading. If I were to pick something that I've changed my mind on, I and this hasn't necessarily been the past year, but I've definitely picked up my reading. But I still do it. You hear about Mark Cuban and Warren Buffett. They read like 6 hours a day. I'm like, well, how do they read 6 hours a day if they're leading these giant multi billion-dollar corporations and all this kind of stuff? And I always pass that off as either not actually doing it. But what I found is that you learn so much more reading than you do probably anything else, except if you're actually experiencing and doing something. But you're learning, they always say you're learning from a master of something, that somebody that spent their whole life learning this is teaching it to you in 300 pages. It is a gift and you should take it. So I've definitely been upping my game on reading. I've been expanding it. I'm usually personal development, from Tony Robbins to, Atomic Habits, that kind of stuff. But I've been expanding a little bit further out in more philosophy books and stuff like that. Just, how we think, why we think, um,
Which one,
what our brain can do to us.
can you give me a book that you read recently that kind of was exciting or new or fresh?
Um,
Or just
let's
got
see. One that I read the War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, which is a little bit, I'm not an artist, at least I don't consider myself one. So it was a little bit out of my typical interest level, but I've always heard it was a great book for, artists. And I actually bought it for my son who is an artist, and it sat on a shelf for 8 months. And, I went down there and said, hey, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to borrow this and read it. He goes, yeah, no problem. And I read it. It was good. It was about procrastination, quite honestly, is what I got out of it. And, as we know, the human condition is procrastination. And it was great kind of reading about it. And, the other part I gained was just do is really what I read. You're going to procrastinate, but if you just do, even if it's not your greatest doing, you're doing it. And guess what? As you do it, it'll get better.
Yeah, I read the book, it may have been 10 years ago, but I would
Yeah.
definitely put it on like that top stack, top 10, top 20 all time. Um,
Yeah.
and it mentioned a lot about resistance and how it's very natural for whatever you're supposed to be doing, whatever your passion or your purpose is, between you and that, there's always a thick layer
Yeah.
of resistance.
Hmm.
It's about breaking through that resistance and putting in the time, putting in the effort. But there was a quote, it was like, amateurs wait for inspiration. Professionals just show up every day and get the work done.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's good. That's a good point.
Yeah, like just
Yep.
show up because
Just show up.
I think the artist mind has a tendency to go with their intuitive feelings and do what they want to do, but then the human logic starts to get tricky and avoid the things that are hard. But once we get right through that resistance and aim right at it and fight that on the other end of that, and this is one of the last chapters in the book, he talks about how like magic kind of comes in where like beautiful, intuitive things come through. And that's where all the greatest stuff comes from. It's behind that resistance that we have to fight through.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. And, again, that's kind of my philosophy on, the early morning workout. Just go do it. No one ever wants to, you're never that excited about it. Like, oh, I got to get up at 4:15 and, get ready and then leave the door at 5:15 to get to the workout. Like, would I rather hit snooze? Yes. But, um, that's not going to make my day better. It's going to make my day a lot worse. And just knowing that and getting through it and just doing it is just has been, yeah, it's nothing like it.
This next question. So you've led people, you've seen people's potential, you've seen them grow, you've seen them get stuck. What do you think are some of the most common limiting beliefs that hold people back?
I mean, I think if I were to narrow it down to one, I think, and it might be human nature, just people don't have confidence in themselves, right? It is, I fall subject to it every morning when I get up. You don't have confidence that what you've done every day, what you've learned, what you've experienced, what you're willing to try is going to get you to where you want to go. So sometimes you are, timid, and sometimes you're not willing to speak up. And I think that is often what will hold people back, and I have to consciously make an effort to break through that on a daily basis. And I guess part of that's leadership, right? Being able to step up even if you're not 100% confident in yourself and lead. So just thinking about this past trip with 60 people that went from Chapel Hill up to Ann Arbor, and I was talking to one of my friends there, and um, she was like, what do you want to accomplish? And I'd written down like the goal was like I want to talk to more people than I have in the past. I want to be able to start the conversations. Um, and I'm great in a group of 5 to 10 people, in a room. I can do it. If it's a group of 60, for some reason, I just I can't do it. There's too many people, and I can't figure it out. So my goal was, and I told her I'm going to talk to more people. And so after every like event we went to, I reported back to her like, hey, I talked to 2 new people, and it was a pretty funny exchange. But it set myself a goal, and I accomplished it. And again, it was confidence that I was missing, and I knew it. So knowing that you don't have confidence, but pushing through it is what many people I think need.
Yeah, one of our mutual friends, Marcus, he had this quote he said once. He said, confidence is keeping the promises you make to yourself. Like, I'm going to talk to more people. I'm going to get this.
Yeah,
And when you keep those promises to yourself, and they should be easy and simple, like just show up, just talk to more people, or just show up to work out and do something. Something I tell the guys in the morning in my morning workout group. I'm never like telling them they're not working hard enough. If they're
mm,
there at 6 a.m. and their heart rate gets elevated, they showed up. That's a win. There's going to be good days and bad days, but simply showing up, the attendance number is like the compliance number is the most important one, showing up.
yeah, right. Yeah,
And
I mean,
and then another like confidence quote was um the self-belief. Like people can't outperform the image that they have of themselves. So if they've created this false ceiling of that's impossible for me to do and I can never get there, then it's possible to get there. But if they believe that I can speak effectively in front of 60 people as soon as I just speak in front of 12 people, 20 people, that I can get there and have that belief, or I can get in great shape, or I could have this happy family life, or whatever it is. They have to have that belief. And sometimes we're limited by our image of ourself and our possibility.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's something I work with my daughter a lot. She's an athlete and a teenage girl, and so she definitely runs into situations where she's lacking confidence. And I instill 2 things in her. I try to push her to think, hey, you put in the work. You're out there, every morning shooting basketball hoops, you're running, you're doing all these things. You put in the work. You have a coach, private coach. You just need to go out there and be confident that the work you did is going to result in good results. And the other thing I tell her is, you know, you're not gonna make every shot. So take that out of your head. But you're not going to make any shots if you don't try. If you don't try that new move, you're not going to make any shots. And the other thing I teach her is it's more of a what she's always worried about what people think of her. And I'm like, okay, you're wearing like a different color sock, Tatum. Her name's Tatum. So um, that's not, no one's going to even notice that. No one's going to notice. Do you notice what, you know, other team's sock color is? No, you don't. You're playing basketball, so stop worrying about what other people think because for one, it's not worth your time. For two, they're actually not even thinking about you. It's not, they're thinking about themselves and they're probably worried about the same thing you're worried about for them. So just gotta kind of break through that. And obviously she's 14 years old, so it's gonna take her some time, but hopefully the old man's lessons are gonna stick with her and she'll figure it out one day.
Well, and 1 year from now, even if someone notices her socks were different, or if you even, sometimes we say something we shouldn't say. 1 year from now, people are not going to remember things that are relatively insignificant. They'll be completely forgotten. But we're sitting there feeling some sort of emotion or stress about it when it just
Yeah.
is not going to matter.
I mean, it's the human condition, and whether it's evolutionary, and we're not that far removed from some other situation where it did matter. It's very interesting. Um, yeah,
So you were saying, just to kind of summarize there, it was show up and then, lower your expectations. You keep showing up. Like you're not going to crush it every day, but show
right.
up, put the work in, practice, put the time in, and then you'll be all right. Don't stress too much about what other people think or, every detail of every mistake that you make.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. Is that I had that discussion with our friend Marcus recently. It's like some mornings I am just not that into my morning routine, and the old me would believe that if you're not that into it, you shouldn't do it because you're not putting it in, you're not giving it 100%, you're not doing it. But in reality, what I learned and relatively recently is that those are the mornings I need it the most when I'm not that into it, when I'm not that prepared to start my morning routine. That's why the routine is there because guess what? That gives you that boost of energy, of confidence, of accomplishment every morning that you need. So that's something I felt and understood recently. I probably have known it or experienced it, but I definitely just understood that recently. So
Yeah, and
anyone out there that doesn't feel 100% sure of their morning routine, just go do it because that's the important part.
and that's kind of the difference between, 10 workouts a month and 18 workouts a month. That's the difference between 120 workouts a year and 200 workouts a year. Is
Right.
those how are the results going to compound differently? And I'm just
Right.
speaking workout perspective because that's what.
No, I mean, it's a good point. And I'm not always, my workouts in the morning, like this morning, I, you know, took a couple reps off, a couple things, but it's better than not being there. And yeah.
So you almost kind of mentioned this, but when I ask, have you ever broken through? Because I find most people that, I mean, I would consider you to be extremely successful with the things you're doing, the purpose you have in your life, and it seems well-rounded and balanced. And to become that kind of person and have that kind of life, most people have had to break through a frustrating, challenging situation. What would you have to break through? And what kind of made you?
Um, I mean, the big one's my marriage and resulting divorce. I guess that was a big breakthrough. It was a huge breakthrough. At some point I felt trapped. Um, and without getting into all the details, felt trapped for some time and didn't see a way out. Um, and getting to the other side and getting through kind of the transition period, which was, 6 months to a year, and just seeing that it's possible, it's great, it's better, the kids are better, I'm better, the ex is better, you know, and that was a huge breakthrough. And it was an unknown, and I didn't seek information from, a master, someone that went through it before I started to go through it. Um, so I would, while I was there and, things weren't going very well, if I had to do it all over again, I would kind of ask around. But, I'll put guys all this, you know, guys don't like to talk to other guys about problems. Everything's great. We're fine. And I was definitely felt that way. I put myself out there more um, to people that are in similar situations that I was, and I feel like I've been helpful and at least sharing experiences with friends, employees that are going through similar situations. So I'm giving back what I didn't seek right now with that. And even some of my F3 group, there's a whole group of guys that are in similar situations, and they get together and talk about it. So it's been an opportunity for them. But yeah, that was the biggest breakthrough of my life, and changed it for the better, and for the better for my children. So I've been blessed again with that situation.
It's awesome. That's, it sounds like a tough bunch of years. And yeah, if anybody's in that situation, Jason's telling you it's possible to come out happy on the other side, and
Yeah.
everyone, everyone can come out happier on the other side.
Yeah. It's probable. Let's just not say it's possible. It's probable. It's just when you're in that situation, and it's a daily struggle. You can't see it. You're just trapped in it because you're in it and not stepping out of it and looking at what is possible.
And if it's guys listening, guys, ask for help. Jason, a lot of the guests on this podcast I've had, and I've gotten more lined up, but like relationship therapists, because guys need to hear this stuff because they're
Yeah.
not conversations.
Yeah. Oh, and on that note, I saw a personal therapist. My ex-wife and I saw a marriage counselor. So we seeked help. I seeked help in that manner, but I never seeked a, for lack of a better term, a mentor that has gone through it, because I didn't. I was hoping not to have to go through it, and feeling that it wasn't possible. It's very interesting. You're definitely in a weird place when you're put to that situation.
So making that decision, making that transition when it seems necessary, you will probably be much happier after the transition's made and you sort it out. I think that's good for guys to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
It's such a hard decision.
It is.
Um, I got a couple more questions here.
Okay.
So, unique habits, unique routines that other people might find surprising, high performance routines. Anything unusual or different that you do that someone around you might do? Anything unique, any habits, any routines that high performers might adopt that others might find surprising?
Um, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be surprising in, kind of our world these days with what I like to call bro science, and all the podcasts like yours out there helping people, teaching people. But I'll go back to the reading thing again. I haven't completely killed my TV, but I don't. I grew up, in the '80s and '90s. I watched way too much TV, when I was a kid, and at some point, actually after my divorce, I didn't get cable service. I didn't get direct TV. We get the occasional streaming thing, so we watch movies and stuff like that. But I essentially cut TV out. Um, I've recently cut social media out just because it's a distraction, and if I'm looking at my Whoop, it brings my stress up when I'm reading stuff. It's also a time suck because you can just get into the death scroll and keep going. So that's one of the things I've implemented. Um, Meditation in the mornings again, that's a practice. Journaling, another practice that I've implemented that has been extremely helpful. Um, I even do goofy things like grounding, where I go stand in the grass
Yeah,
for a minute to get myself ready for the day.
I think there's a
Um,
little bit of science on grounding.
there's definitely science on grounding, but do my neighbors, when they see me out in the grass in the dark, wonder what I'm doing? Probably. So,
Well, what's interesting about the way you're answering this question is it's not surprising to me at all. Like what you're
right.
describing is really fundamentally across the board. All the fundamentals just work. You don't need to do anything unique or different or surprising. Like stay
Right.
away from social media, TV, work
Yeah.
out, meditate, probably eat healthy,
Eat
manage.
very healthy.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
It's the fundamental.
that's been my trick. I'm not necessarily the most successful person in the world. So, there's probably other secrets out there, but I've been, as I told you before, I've been seeking those. I've been trying to find them, and I've been implementing the ones that I can and that I feel like will work. And I've been trying ones and passing them off that don't work for me. And
Which ones did not work for you? Just out of curiosity.
well, that's a good question. Um, uh, I cold plunging uh, kind of got it just got administratively difficult for me to do just because I don't have a cold plunge. I should probably buy one. So I switched to cold showers, but I still do it's still the same idea, but just not as difficult to implement in my daily routine.
From what I've gathered, I'm going to move to a different state here in the next 4 months, and I'm thinking about like I'm probably just going to buy like a coffin shaped freezer. And I got a buddy, he could afford whatever kind of cold plunge he wants, but this is what he did, and he just freezes the water, puts a temperature thermometer in there, and unplugs it. Don't forget to unplug it, just in case.
Okay. So he
And
just gets a chest freezer and just
yeah,
fills it up.
yeah,
Really?
and what I've found is, like I've got a buddy who's like a real hard ass. Like he hasn't showered with warm water in like 2 years. Like it's just crazy. Right? Like when I cold plunge, I'm not thinking like, I'm trying to get mentally strong from this. That's not my
Right.
objective. When I cold plunge, I want the physiological benefits. I want the norepinephrine in my brain. I want the inflammation out of my body. And I just want to nudge the system. I don't want to blast my hormones as much as I can. I don't want to exhaust my mental willpower. So what I'll do is I'll put it on about 45 degrees. Um,
Okay.
I go to a local place here and they keep the thing at like 35, and it's just torture. It's complete torture.
Yeah.
Versus 45 is uncomfortable, but you can grip it and you can sink into it more, especially if you're not as conditioned. And I only do 3 minutes, and you
Yeah.
can hot cold like that if you want. It just feels good. It just doesn't feel like it's this crazy psychotic cold plunge.
All right. Well, you convinced me I need to go back to it because now I just realized that I'm hiding from it. But I did it for January. So I did a carnivore and cold plunge January.
Wow.
And the carnivore was great. That was, I had never had as much all day energy as I
Really?
did on the carnivore diet. Yeah, that was exceptional. And then I was cold plunging at the same time, so my mornings were getting kicked off really well. Um,
Wait,
yeah.
Let's hang out with the carnivore diet for a minute.
Okay.
How rigid were you able to be with
Extremely. Yeah. I mean, I was,
Give
I
us
forget.
a sample day's diet.
Um, Sardines, big part of it. Really, um, eggs, bacon.
Look, I got
Uh,
some Wild Planet sardines right here.
I have those in my
This
office, right across the way.
Wild Planet version is the only version I'd eat. The rest of them aren't
Yeah,
near.
yeah. No, you're right. I actually got banned from eating those in the office, so I have to eat them outside on the bench because they smell too bad. But
They do, they
they're
do.
so good. So those were a big part of it. Just chicken. I'd cook up just meat. I'd cook up chicken. I had a lot of what I have was it elk. I had a lot of like meat from a hunt that a friend of mine went on, and it was axis deer. Which is if you've ever had axis, that is the best. It's like it tastes like beef, but it's a lot leaner and healthier for you. Ate a lot of that, and really I read somewhere you could have a little bit of cheese, so I had some goat cheese. That was kind of like my dessert, as I would go with some goat cheese. But I pretty much stuck 100% to, eating a little bit of cheese.
So it's a little bit of cheese. It's 100% meat. Is there salt? Are there any condiments?
Um, yeah, I think salt and pepper were allowed, or at least I allowed them. So I put salt and pepper on my eggs, and obviously a lot of the cured meats are salted anyway, so you get a lot of, you're going to get some spices with meat sticks and such. And I tried to stick to, grass fed, organic,
Mhm.
as much as I could. I mean, obviously the meat from the hunt was as organic as it can get. Uh, so yeah,
So you're probably deeply in ketosis, and that's what gives you that steady, low inflammation
yeah,
energy.
yeah.
Um, how'd your body composition change in January?
I got lean, and I got, I mean, I lost some weight, but it wasn't like anything that I was worried about. But I, started to see my abs a little bit more, and just um, felt tight. Yeah, it was good.
It's like, I mean, that's like one of the most challenging, restrictive, disciplined diets you can do.
Yeah,
I think some people that have serious autoimmune conditions really benefit from it. And I think
yeah,
like a month like that, like you can really shred some fat. You can really, it's probably good for maybe a month. Probably not long term though, huh?
right. Well, that was my concern. Is like, you know, did I, did I do damage during that month? I don't think so, but I wasn't willing to go any further with it. I mean, I eat a paleo to keto diet, kind of somewhere in between that. I mean, if that's even possible, someone's probably going to tell me that doesn't even make any sense. But um, you know, healthy whole food diet is kind of what I go for. Heavy on protein, and I'm not afraid of fat, uh,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's really close to where I'm at is that paleo keto. It's a lot of protein and it's like clean, healthy fruits and vegetables and probably some clean, slow digesting carbs, very low on like chemicals, very low on processed sugar, no bread. Um,
Yeah,
I'm at.
yeah. I've tried to cut. I've been a pretzel fiend throughout my life, and that's been a tough challenge. So still, if a bag shows up at my house, I somehow find a way to eat it. Or if I go to my sister's and I know she has some, I can't stay out of her pantry. But yeah, I stay away from some breads. Occasionally, corn tortillas for tacos and stuff like that is the heavy carbs that I do. Some rice
Um,
on occasion.
yeah, I'll do some rice to it. It feels clean. When you were doing that month, did you notice did you notice anything about your sleep?
I'll be honest. I've always been a good sleeper, so I didn't notice a terrible amount of difference.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I was asking because I wanted to see if your response was going to be similar to mine. My, my
okay.
my experience is sometimes when I get deep into ketosis, it's as if my body recharges so quickly that like I feel like I'm so energized, I just need less sleep. And I'm like, I should be getting more sleep, but I'll check my tracking device and I'll have the REM sleep and the deep sleep covered. But I do it in like 5.5, 6 hours, and I just don't feel like I need any more. I feel like I'm just recovering so quickly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know if I had that same experience. I wasn't tracking my sleep at the time, necessarily, but what I did notice is that every winter when it gets dark, I have, I'm forgetting the term of it, but basically some sort of depression, for lack of a better word,
Hmm.
where I can tell that because it's only dark 8 hours a day, or only light out 8 hours a day, that I'm not getting enough light, and it makes me kind of down. And 100%, I did not have that when I was on keto in January. January's, kind of the worst month of the year for that. That was a definite,
Um,
which might push me into doing another carnivore January this coming year.
Yeah, when the sun goes down, you're like, I want to feel good this winter. Let's
Right,
hope.
exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking about buying one of these like expensive lights that gives you sunlight, even though it's not real, but it gives you the same feeling. And that was on my list for last year, and then I went to the keto, or not the keto, but the carnivore, and it worked.
How much have you played with experimenting different doses of vitamin D3 and K2 for that period of time where you feel that depression kind of coming in?
Um, None. I mean, I take vitamin D, K2, but I didn't really mess around with doses. I just took what the recommended dose was on whatever I was taking, and
I've,
I
I've
can't say that that helped or hurt me.
I've had the chance to work with a lot of people and test a lot of people's vitamin D levels and play with different supplements. And
Yeah.
the reference range is 30 to 100. So a doctor won't say anything if it's 31, but we're kind of emotionally optimized around 75, 80. And
Okay.
it's hard to get toxic. So I've had people, a lot of people take 10,000 units a day, every day, 10,000 units,
Really?
especially in the winter. And that dosage, I've never seen somebody get high levels from that seemingly high dosage.
Okay. I'll have to check my dosage because off the top of my head, I'm not going to know exactly what I've been taking, but that's so 10,000 a day. That's good to know.
And then I'll even like night before last, I was actually feeling kind of sick. And like, I just had a weird day where like I didn't have energy and I couldn't figure it out. And I just assumed, all right, I might be getting sick here. So on those days, what I'll do is I'll take like 50,000 units, sometimes 3 days straight if I'm definitely sick. And those mega doses of vitamin D, just for a short period of time like that, when you're sick, really, I think have an impact
Yeah.
like resiliency.
Okay. That's good to know.
All right, I got two more questions for you. Do you have
Okay.
time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tell me about the power of coaching, of getting a coach. How have you benefited from a coach? As much as you want to share about your experience working with a coach.
Um, well, I have had extreme benefit from using a coach. I think, when you first thought about it, like, I don't need a coach. I got this under control. And then, you know, when I first signed up with a coach, I was like, all right, this is, it's going to be an accountability guy. So he's going to just, make me do things and report back next week. And it is not that at all. It's, it has been, you know, called a transformation, working with a coach. He's helping me with work stuff, with kid stuff, with personal life stuff, just basically being a well-rounded, well put together person. And obviously, the more you build up the, your personal life, your personal beliefs, your personal systems, the better you're going to perform wherever you want to be performing better. So to me, it's, my goals are, being a great dad and being a great leader at the office. And, I've been very successful with that and very happy with, what my coach has provided for me. So anyone out there that doesn't have a coach that's thinking about it, give it a try. It's transformational. It's something you don't think you need until you get one, and then you realize that you needed this all along.
But
Um,
it's kind of like pouring gasoline on your fire and magnifying who you are, who you could be.
right? No, it really is. You're right.
And full disclosure, guys, me and Jason met because we have the same coach. His name's
That's
Marcus.
true.
If you'd like to meet Marcus, he's exceptional with a lot of experience. Um, and he actually taught me a lot about coaching, how to be a coach, and we all still work together. If you guys have any interest in that, definitely contact us.
Yes, definitely. He's a great coach, great leader, great friend too. So.
All right, last question. You've had a lot of experience with people building their dream homes, their
Mhm.
customized dream homes. Um, what have you learned working with these people? Or I guess listeners might be people that want to build their own custom dream home. What can you tell us about the big do's, the big don'ts, or what they could expect that process to be like?
Oh, wow. Okay. So the custom building process, I will start with the bad part. It is not easy. It is the first time this home has ever been designed and built. It is very emotional for the homeowners that are building the home, often these homes are, as I mentioned earlier, they're forever homes or they're dream homes. They've worked all of their life to be able to afford this and want it to be perfect. There's no perfect. I will put that out there. Nothing's ever perfect. Um, and with that, there is a lot of emotion involved in it. They may have some date in their mind where they have to have the house done because it's so and so's birthday and they want to celebrate their birthday at the new house. And so that puts a lot of pressure on us in meeting schedules. But it's it, it it's it's an amazing experience. So we call it around here the exceptional building experience. That is our mission. We want to provide our clients with an exceptional building experience. It's said multiple times a day. It's reminded of our team, and that is our focus. Um, Obviously, we can build amazing homes. We can match the quality of anyone in the area, but we want our clients to really enjoy the process. Um, you know, it can be a roller coaster throughout the process. So we will never set the expectations that it's going to be easy the whole time. We actually have a slide in our first presentation that is a roller coaster, so we can kind of give them the visual. Um, Often that has to do with progress. Different stages of construction are faster than others. So we can frame a 6,000 square foot house in 6 weeks, and it goes from basically a flat foundation to a fully framed house. And people think the rest of the project's going to go that long. That's not how it happens. It takes a lot of time to get all the mechanicals in the house, wires pulled through it, and all that before we can move on to the next step. So,
What's the
um,
what's a time difference between like kind of just almost like a regular build that's replicable versus the time it takes to build a custom home at that level?
um, I mean, we talk to people that kind of in the production world. Some of them build houses in less than 100 days from start to finish. A lot of them average in the 120 mark. Our houses take 12 months, to build. And sometimes if they're bigger and more intricate and have a lot more design details, can take 18 to 24 months. Really depends on size, scope, and kind of lead times on specific items. So yeah, it is. We tell our clients we're going to be part of your lives for 3 years, from when we first meet to when we go through the design process to when we build the house to when you have your kind of unlimited warranty period for the first year. And you have to really want to work with us, and we have to really want to work with you, and we have to have that agreement that it's we want you to have a great experience. You want to have a great experience, but there's going to be some dips, and we have to agree to get through those dips the best way we can. But it's a blast. I mean, like I said before, we got a team of 18 people that are doing this, and we're able to serve more people as we have a large team and able to build more houses and able to put people in their dream homes. It's really I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, you get to walk them through that house when it's complete and they get to see every detail that no one else has. It's customized just for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you one experience recently that was just above and beyond. We had a client that had been out of town um, for some time, probably 3, 4 months, hadn't seen the house, but they were coming back to see the house completed for the first time. They had us build the house, they had an interior designer furnish the house, and they were seeing this beautiful house for the first time with their, it was a family of 6, 4 kids, and the husband hired a bagpipe bagpiper, I guess, to play as they drove up the driveway. So we got a bagpipe playing. We got, clients seeing the house for the first time, bright eyed kids, so excited to be there.
Get a video.
Um, what's that?
The video of
Oh, yeah.
that all that
Oh,
experience.
yeah. Yeah. It was beautiful. And it was just, that's why we do this. And that was certainly above and beyond. And we don't have a lot of bagpipers yet. It might be a new thing, but it was awesome. And they were, these clients were amazing. They were extremely grateful for what we did. And, extremely, they're humble people, but this was their dream house. This is what they wanted for their family. And it was a blast. And, that's to recharge. You need one of those every once in a while, recharge as to the why. Why do we do this? That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we just dropped a lot of info. Jason, it was a complete honor to have you on here. You're even cooler than I expected. If so Custom Dream Homes, the website will be in the show notes, and then the
Okay.
Bold Foundation. Is there anything you want to share about the Bold Foundation if anyone's interested in that?
All right. Well, so the construction company's Bold Construction Incorporated, custom homes and renovations, buildboldnc.com. The foundation is the Bold Foundation. We serve the underserved in northern Chatham County, Chapel Hill area. And, our goal is to give back to those that don't have much to build them up and give them the opportunities to, move forward with their lives and give them the best chance to succeed. Yeah, we love it. It's great.
I think everyone deserves a clear path in life.
That's true. Everyone needs an opportunity. It's out there. We just, folks like us and you, and we need to keep preaching that can happen.
Well, Jason, thanks again. It was a complete honor. And all right, guys, I hope y'all had a great walk, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Bye, y'all.